right, let's talk about Vigorish, juice, and how critical it is.
If there was one takeaway, one tip, everyone write this down. It's going to save you so much money if you're a serious bettor. Mathematically, let me explain how big a difference a minus 110 standard vig is versus minus 105 versus minus 115.
Whether it's at the sportsbook or anywhere else in the casino, he's always helping us find an edge. It's time for Fezzik Fridays.
It is Friday on the show. We always like to bring him in at the end of the week. It's time for Fezzik Fridays.
I'm going to throw myself under the bus. I don't think I'm careful enough, especially live betting. I think this is one of my leaks. That I'm like, I really like a bet, right? And so it's minus 113 or minus 117. I really like it. I'm going to make it. The edges, if you just were blindly betting, of those three options, it equate to like a roulette wheel. The minus 105, there's the single green. Mm-hmm. All right. The minus 110 is a double green, 5%, 5.2% house edge. The 000 is like a 7.7% green. No one would play 000 ever roulette. Although it's interesting.
Even the most basic gambler would know not to play that.
Well, then again, you walk through Caesar's Palace and there's the 000 and the table's packed and the 000 is open and no one is playing it. So, there's this invention. It's a great invention. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called the internet.
Yeah.
People are unaware of it.
I think it's got a future. I think it's got a future.
Yes, that you can query these things and find out. But just the idea that 000 roulette is such a ridiculous bet versus 000, and yet this minus 115, it's fine. We'll go ahead and play that. And it's not just minus 115. You're looking on these live wagers, and all the time with shows, poor Will Hill has to put up with me. He's like, the current line live is like minus 170, take back 125. God couldn't beat that spread. The differential.
What you just said, I think, is fascinating, which is even you, Steve Fezzik, the most robotic betting brain that I know, right? The man is not human with the way that you process things. Even you, when you're live betting, and I think this is kind of comforting for some people to hear, you are not adhering to perfect math when you see the juice, whatever the juice is, come up. And I venture to say, Steve, because I'll raise my hand, I'm right there with you.
Has costed me so much money. Or I play into one book.
Right.
If there was one takeaway, one tip, everyone write this down. It's going to save you so much money if you're a serious bettor. When you're live wagering, you got to have multiple books. You don't have to have 5. You need to have 2.
Yeah.
Just 2. Have a burner phone, have a second phone, pull up the apps, and have 2 different independent places and compare them, and you'll be shocked. You were about to hit your little finger and submit minus 130, and you had minus 115 over here. That is like a 7.5% difference in your ROI.
It is. You will learn so much from that exercise. You're absolutely right. You said at least have 2 books, right? You don't have to have 5. At least have 2. And Kelly is correct when he says often there is a point of diminishing returns with that because this is all time sensitive, right? So you can't. Sometimes if you're looking too many places, the bet goes away. But having 2 is great. What's the one book that should be a part of that too?
Bookmaker with Costa Rica International, and Crackman spoke about this yesterday.
Yeah.
I think in terms of a term, Captain Jack Andrews uses the term source of truth. I love that. And really, I would say, even if you don't have access to the book, you should constantly be refreshing it. You should have like multiple phones or computer screens and look at what they're dealing. Because if they're dealing a number and you get the same number at another book, it's probably not nearly as good a bet as you thought you would. But if like they're dealing, Chris is minus 120, and now you can get a minus 112, you're like, you know what? If you liked it already, that's probably going to be a really good bet.
So ideally, you'd have a bookmaker or a Chris as one of the books and have a completely different type of book as the second one.
Maybe have a station casino up, a Circa up, as many as possible. But Kelly's right. Once you go past 3,
there's no time.
And the second there's a disparity, you already know which side you like.
That's
Bang!
right.
If there's a big disparity, go. Just bet it.
Yeah. One of the things that's come up here is that you jump ahead of lines. And I noticed this week, there's a week 1 game between the Niners and the Seahawks. Niners favored by 1.5, and you're immediately like, we got to jump on that bet.
Go.
We got to jump on
that bet.
We
are betting the Niners. Go.
Explain to the people why.
Okay, so I am a big believer in follow in maniacal fashion the season win numbers for every team, college and NFL. You will glean so much key information. So there are teams that the marketplace loves, and there are teams the marketplace strongly dislikes. And what's better, Gil, when you get a matchup? You get a team that everyone likes and they're betting on. The Niners, their season win number's gone up to 10.5 now. And they have a team that the market hates right now, Seattle, whose season win number is falling. And it's gone from 8.5 to 8. So we got one team supposed to win 10.5. One team is supposed to win 8 games. And I know Seattle historically has had a big home field advantage, but this line should be 3. San Fran should be laying 3 at Seattle, and we can lay 2. So we're going to take advantage of that, lay the 2. I get it. Divisional dogs have done great NFL week 1. You know what? When this line goes to 3, we'll consider Seattle. But until it does, which it likely will, we're on the Niners.
So San Francisco, -1.5, -2 at Seattle, somewhere in that pocket right now. Also, so a couple other examples of this. Indianapolis +1.5 versus Miami. Is that also week 1?
Wrong team is favored week 1.
Yeah.
Yes. Why are the Dolphins favored in this game? The Dolphins are supposed to win 7.5 games. Well, the Colts are supposed to win 7.5 games. The Colts are home. So yet the Colts are the underdog. The reason that Miami is favored is because their Miami season win number opened 8.5. So people perceive Miami to be the better team. That is no longer the case. The market has basically said, boy, we've soured on Miami big time. And so with 2 teams with comparable season win, comparable power ratings, and Indy at home, Indy should be laying 1.5. So we will take the Colts plus the 1.5.
I feel like I'm at the seminar right now. This is good stuff. Here's one more example. Minnesota's a pick versus Chicago.
The Bears still stink, Gil. Every year,
Yeah.
Every year the loyal folks from Des Plaines, Illinois, and everywhere else loves backing the Bears. But the money is pouring in against the Bears in the season win market. And Chicago, is down to 8 for their season win number. This is a weighted average of the sharp books. Minnesota, now their season win number started at 8.5. It's up to 9.3. Everyone is betting on the Vikings. The feeling is that, you know what? As long as we get average quarterback play, that team is stacked. And because of that, this line is pick'em. Minnesota at Chicago. The Bears historically haven't been that good at home, so we will back Minnesota at a pick'em.
People listening, I'm sure there's a portion of the audience that are like, wow, this sounds like super duper mechanical in some way. That is you. Like, I think one of the smartest things that Todd, we keep bringing up Todd, our friend, that he says is, and he points at me and him versus you as we talk about this, but it's, he says about me and him, we have the arrogance to think that we're smarter than the market while you are so successful because you don't have that arrogance.
Yeah, and that's really where I cut my bones is back in, we're going all the way back here to like 1993. And people didn't know about CLV closing line value and the importance of that. And I was a huge believer, like when I saw the sharpest books moving on games, and I was like, hey, they're getting the information. The best bettors in the world are telling them what the right size on the game. It doesn't matter. I can't name a player on Air Force or BYU. If money's pouring in on the Falcons, I probably should find a way to get on Air Force.
Cousin to this discussion is, and this is another thing that you do that I like, is you believe every NFL team, all 32, and then every college football team in D1, I'm talking about you, but everyone should make a $5, whatever the minimum is, a $5 bet on every total, either over or under. Why?
Yeah, so what am I doing? This is obviously a negative expectation move to have to bet every single game, or a likely negative expectation. If you shop enough, I could make the case you could probably break even. Because the way the human brain is engineered, having $10 on Jacksonville State under 6.5 wins, which is a good bet, I might add, also, even at under 6, all of a sudden, your brain will remember, because you have made a bet, even though it's inconsequential, when Jacksonville State is playing Louisiana Tech, you'll be like, oh, that's right. I've got these guys under. And you'll pay so much more attention to each and every game. You'll have action essentially on every game. You'll know which teams are overachieving, underachieving, getting lucky, getting unlucky. You will become so engrossed and engaged with each and every Division I football team, along with all the NFL teams.
I also say from a content perspective, content provider perspective, that's a great thing to do. right? Just to have as a reference point beyond the betting itself.
Because like my pet peeve, I watch shows like Will Hill. I love Will Hill, right?
Yeah.
And so someone will misquote a number and they'll say, oh, this team's season win number. And they'll say a number that is out there, but it's really an alternative number, that has like a minus 240 vig. And I'll like lose my mind. I'll be like, start texting them. And it's like, that is not that team's season win number. What are you talking about? I retract that number. Yes.
Yes. And for those who think that Stevie doesn't text any of us if there's something that bothers him, think again. Just inundated with text.